caused a fire, but Kevin, pouring his last mouthful of cold coffee onto the burning quilt, said, "Look at it this way. It could have just as easily been my cigarette." And that's what's nice about working for a communist. On the beach last weekend, I noticed the way Tiffany marched barefoot across the blistering sand, while the rest of us hopped and yelped and hated ourselves for not wearing sneakers. Towards the end of our vacation, Tiffany was seen casting her cigarette onto the driveway and stamping it out with her bare feet, never wincing or anything. That's the sort of activity people get paid to do in a freak show, and here she is, my own sister, doing it for free. My school insurance expires in a few weeks, so I've made an appointment for a checkup. It's the only thing they'll pay for, as all my other complaints have been dismissed as cosmetic. If you want a kidney transplant, it's covered, but if you desperately need a hair transplant, it's cosmetic. You tell me. I stood around the examining room for 20 minutes, afraid to poke around, as every so often a nurse or some confused patient would open the door and wander into the room. And it's bad enough to be caught in your underpants, but even worse to be caught in your underpants scratching out a Valium prescription on someone else's pad. When the doctor finally came, he looked over my chart and said, "Hey, we have almost the exact same birthday. I'm 1 day younger than you." And that did wonders for my morale. It never occurred to me that my doctor could be younger than me, never entered my mind. He started in by asking a few preliminary questions and then said, "Do you smoke?" "Only cigarettes and pot," I answered. He gave me a look. "Only cigarettes and pot? Only?" "Not crack," I said. "Never touched the stuff. Cigars either. Terrible, nasty habit." I was at work this afternoon defrosting someone's freezer when I heard the EPA's report on secondhand smoke. It was on the radio and they reported it over and over again. It struck me the same way that previous EPA reports must have struck auto manufacturers and the owners of chemical plants, as reactionary and unfair. The report accuses smokers, especially smoking parents, of criminal recklessness, as if these were people who kept loaded pistols lying on the coffee table, crowded alongside straight razors and mugs of benzene. Over Christmas, we looked through boxes of family pictures and played a game we call Find Mom's Cigarette. There's one in every picture. We've got photos of her pregnant, leaning towards a lit match, and others of her posing with her newborn babies, the smoke forming a halo above our heads. These pictures give us a warm feeling. She smoked in the bathtub, where we'd find her drowned butts lined up in a neat row beside the shampoo bottle. She smoked through meals and often used her half-empty plate as an ashtray. Mom's theory was that if you cooked the meal and did the dishes, you were allowed to use your plate however you liked. It made sense to us. Even after she was diagnosed with lung cancer, she continued to smoke, though less often. On her final trip to the hospital, sick with pneumonia, she told my father she'd left something at home and had him turn the car around. And there, standing at the kitchen counter, she entertained what she knew to be her last cigarette, and I hoped that she enjoyed it. It never occurred to any of us that Mom might quit smoking. Picturing her without a cigarette was like trying to imagine her on water skis. Each of us is left to choose our own quality of life and take pleasure where we find it, with the understanding that, like Mom used to say, sooner or later something's going to get you. Something got me the moment I returned home from work, and Hugh delivered his interpretation of the EPA report. He told me that I am no longer allowed to smoke in any room that he currently occupies. Our apartment is small, 4 tiny rooms. I told him that seeing as I pay half the rent, I should be allowed to smoke half the time we're in the same room together. He agreed on the condition that every time I light a cigarette, all the windows must be open. It's cold outside. Giantess. Writers, have fun while earning a few extra bucks writing erotica. Giantess magazine needs stories about gals who grow to gigantic proportions. Send sample of work to DL Publications. I circled that ad in this morning's paper and left it lying on my desk while I went to work, staining the bookcases of an art director. This man had, among other artifacts, a pair of delicate porcelain plates, each picturing a single sperm making its reckless journey toward an egg. By mid-afternoon, this man had only one such plate. It wasn't necessarily our fault, it just sort of happened. The woman I was working with thought we should leave a confessional note, but I thought it might be a better idea to tell him that a squirrel had come in through the window, jumped on the dresser, smashed the plate, and then left. I thought maybe we should scratch the surface of the dresser to suggest destructive claw marks. Lily decided it might be better for her to blame it all on me, seeing as a client was a friend of her brother, so that's how we left it. I came home.